Sophie Cunningham emerges as fever enforcer in standing up for Caitlin Clark. Sophie Cunningham made it clear she and the Indiana Fever won't be pushed around amid a frenzied contest with the Connecticut Sun. According to Golden State Warriors star Draymond Green, the Indiana Fever needed an enforcer last season. Rookie phenom Caitlin Clark was new to the league, and her presence on the court drew an accelerated amount of physicality, prompting widespread concern that officials weren't doing enough to protect her. Draymond says the Indiana Fever should invest in an enforcer after seeing teams go after Caitlin Clark. Cue Sophie Cunningham. A 6-year wnba veteran, Cunningham was acquired by the Fever this offseason and fully embraces the fiery reputation she's earned over the years, stating in her introductory press conference, "I'm fierce, I'm sassy, I stick up for my teammates, I stick up for myself. I think it's owed to be feisty and be yourself." Cunningham backed up that sentiment Tuesday night when the Fever faced off against the Connecticut Sun. Tension had been building throughout the game, fueled by some trash talk and physical play between former college rivals J.C. Sheldon and Cunningham's teammate Caitlin Clark. That intensity boiled over into a dust-up after Sheldon poked Clark in the eye. As Clark grabbed at her face, the two exchanged shoves, prompting Sheldon's teammate Marina Mabrey to rush in and knock Clark to the ground while her back was turned. Many felt the altercation wasn't officiated fairly, as Mabrey remained in the game with only a technical foul, a decision that added fuel to a growing sentiment this season that the Fever, and Clark in particular, aren't being adequately protected. That frustration carried into the final minute when Cunningham delivered a hard foul on Sheldon during a fast break layup attempt, sparking speculation about whether Cunningham was delivering a message that Indiana had had enough. In the team's previous meetup, Sheldon's physical play sent Indiana guard Sidney Colson out of the game with injury and chipped Cunningham's tooth. So whether it was retaliation, frustration, or just a vet making a statement, it's clear that Cunningham wasn't going to let her teammates or herself get pushed around without a response. If Indiana needed an enforcer to balance out the scales where the officiating has fallen short, they look to have found it in Sophie Cunningham. In a league where reputations are hard-earned and team dynamics can make or break a season, Sophie Cunningham has made one thing abundantly clear. She's not here to be liked, she's here to protect. The Indiana Fever, a team once quietly rebuilding in the shadows of the WNBA elite, now finds itself at the epicenter of media attention and fan scrutiny, thanks largely to the arrival of rookie sensation Caitlin Clark. The sharpshooting phenom has electrified arenas and broken viewing records, bringing an entirely new wave of energy, and with it, a tidal wave of pressure. Clark, for all her composure and skill, has faced her share of adversity: hard fouls, trash talk, cheap shots from veterans eager to test her mettle. It's the welcome to the league treatment, and it's not always friendly. But lately she's had someone in her corner who is more than willing to push back: Sophie Cunningham. A gritty transformation. Once known primarily for her streaky shooting and bold on-court personality with the Phoenix Mercury, Cunningham joined the Fever with something to prove. She wasn't brought in to headline, that was Clark's job. Instead, Cunningham brought a different value: grit, tenacity, and a touch of chaos. In recent games, Cunningham has emerged not just as a role player, but as something more primal, an enforcer. The kind of player who understands that talent needs protection, and that leadership sometimes looks like taking a technical foul so your teammate doesn't have to. The turning point came in a heated match against a conference rival. Clark was bumped hard in transition with no call from the refs. As tensions rose, so did Cunningham. She stepped in, chest up, jaw tight, eyes burning with defiance. She didn't swing, she didn't shove, but her message was clear. You mess with her, you mess with all of us. It wasn't about starting a fight, it was about drawing a line, the enforcer archetype. Every great team in sports has had one. The player who's willing to get their hands dirty, who plays with an edge, who understands that intimidation is sometimes part of the strategy. In hockey, they call them enforcers, players whose very presence on the ice can alter the temperature of the game. In the NBA, they'd gone by names like Draymond Green, Dennis Rodman, or even Charles Oakley. They weren't always the top scorers. They were always the ones you didn't want to cross.